Back to another Flutter tutorial. In today's episode, let's learn how to add space inside of a row widget and a column widget. So in the last episode, we learned how to create a row widget. We created this class, a row widget, and here we have a row widget with 3 containers inside of it. And we use the main axis alignment and cross axis alignment to align the items inside of this row widget. But if you have a need to specify a fixed space, how can you do that in Flutter? In this episode, we'll learn how to do this. So let's comment these 2 options. And now to learn about how to add space, let's learn about working with a SizedBox widget. So SizedBox widget is a widget in Flutter that will create invisible box when you can specify the width and the height of this invisible box. And you also have a property for a child widget, and when you specify this child widget, this will take the size defined in the width and the height properties. So to learn about working with SizedBox, let's create a new stateless widget. Let's come inside of this folder widgets and create a new file. Let's name this file SizedBox_widget . And then use STL and select the option stateless widget. Here start typing sized, and Flutter will give you the name for your class. So now inside of this build method, instead of returning this placeholder, let's return this SizedBox widget. Here, if you leave it as it is, this will create an invisible box. So let's save everything. Let's copy this class. Let's go into home and replace it right here instead of the row widget. Make sure you import this class right here, SizedBox widget. And then let's go back, save everything. Let's go back right here to the SizedBox widget. And now let's specify a child widget. If you hover over it, you will see we have a few properties. We have the width property, the height property, and both take a double as an argument. And in the child, you can specify a child widget. So here I want to add a card widget, and inside of this card widget I want to have a child, and this child will be a text widget. And for the text, let's say some text example. If you save everything, you can see right here that this card, even though it's inside of the SizedBox widget, is just large enough to wrap this text widget. In a video about card widget, I told you have a few ways to make this card widget grow in size. One way is to use the padding widget. Another way is using the SizedBox. But here you can use the properties. The width property, let's say 300 pixel for the width and 300 pixel for the height. And this will force this card widget to take these values for width and height. Save everything, and you can see right here, this will make your card widget grow in size. If you don't want to use fixed value, you can also use double dot infinity, and this will make this card widget grow in width and fill the available space. The same thing for the height. If you copy right here and paste it and save everything, you can see right here that this card will grow. You can see this by adding a background color to your card widget. Let's call the colors dot and call the green color. Save everything, and you can see right here, this is the size now of your card widget. And we can make this text widget center using the center widget, and you can also apply a style to your text widget using this style property, and then calling this text style class using color property. Let's call the colors dot, let's call white to give it a contrast. So if you want to learn all about card widget, text widget, and how to style and center widget, I have a link on the description below of this video. or you can go in our YouTube channel and we have a playlist that will teach you basics to advanced concepts about Flutter. So this is one way to work with SizedBox widget, and another way, like I said in the beginning of this video, is to use SizedBox to add space among items inside of a row. So let's come right here between these columns. Let's call this SizedBox widget, give it a comma, and here to add a space we need to use the width property because we are talking about row, so the items will be displayed in a horizontal manner. So we use the width to add space. Let's say 30 pixel in width. Copy and then paste it again, save everything, and let's go to home.dart, and now let's call the row widget again. So call the row widget, save everything, and you can see right here we have now a 30 pixel for space among each item inside of the row. And if you are using the column widget, you can basically do the same thing. The only difference is now instead of using the width property, we have to use the height, because the items are placed from top to bottom. To add space, we need the height property. So come right here, let's add one among the container and the text box widget. Save everything. Let's go here and then call the column widget. Save everything, and you can see right here we now have white space among each items instead of using the main axis and the cross axis properties. If you come into these properties right here, so these are the two ways you can work with SizedBox widget. Another thing about SizedBox widget, so if you don't want to use the height and the width property, you can comment these both properties, and then you can use this dot and you can use this expand. This will be the same thing as specifying the width and the height with the value of double dot infinity. Let's see this. Let's call again this SizedBox widget. Save it, and you can see right here by using this expand. So let's see it. Save. Come right here, let's remove this widget. Save. As you can see, if you use the center widget, this will also force this card widget to grow and fill the available space. So let's remove it. Save. So if you use SizedBox.expand, this will fill your container. So another useful thing that I like to use is using SizedBox when I need to make a button fill the available space. So let's say instead of returning this card widget, let's now call the fill button. This will take two properties, the onPress required callback function and then a child widget. For the child widget, let's use this text widget, and for the text, let's call this a button. And here, instead of calling a function, let's just call in a anonymous function right here. This will be the callback. Save everything, and you can see right here this is a button. Don't worry about buttons in Flutter for now. As we move forward in this tutorial series, we'll learn all about buttons, how to handle them, and all the buttons available in Flutter that you can use inside of your project. But for now, if you want this button to be responsive and fill this container, you can come right here and just uncomment this property and save, and you can see this will fill the container. But we see right here this button is touching the corners, so you can come right here and then select the option to wrap with a container, and then you just have to specify the margin property, and then you call right here edgeLyset.symmetric name constructor, and then use the horizontal property. Let's say for the space, let's use now 16 pixel for the margin. Save, and here this button will become responsive. So this is one useful way to work with SizedBox widget. When you need to make your button bigger, you can use this SizedBox widget with the double dot infinity to make it responsive. But as you can see, you can use any child inside of this SizedBox and if you specify the width and the height, this widget will take the value of this SizedBox widget. So this is how you can work with SizedBox widget in Flutter. So one thing I want to show you before we finish this video, let's call now this row widget again. And if you go inside of this row widget and we specify more SizedBox, so let's specify more widget inside of this children property, paste it. If you save, you will get this error in Flutter. This is an error because we have more child that we can place inside of this available space. This is happening because row widget and column widget doesn't allow widgets to be recycled. In the next video, we will learn how to solve them using expandable widgets. So this is it for this video. If you find this video useful, give a like and subscribe for more Flutter videos. See you on the next one.